Greetings and welcome to another video and welcome to another episode of Passion for Games. And joining me as usual is Jeff, Sasamisa1806. Hello mate.
Well, hello there.
Right, in this one today we are going to be doing Darkside on the Atari ST. And Darkside is a 1988 first person shooting game from Incentive Software, and it's a direct sequel to Driller, which we've covered previously. This game came out on a lot of systems: the Amiga, the ST, the Amstrad, the 64, the PC, the Spectrum, and the Sharp MZ800, no less.
Yeah, I actually played the 64 version first. Well, I actually played Driller first on the ST and the Amiga, but I didn't hear about the sequel until James told me about it because he recorded Wally Baben's music. I had no idea it was on the 16 bits, so I played the 64 version first. And I did actually finish it before I finished Driller, with a bit of help from Zap.
Well, it's Wally Baben's 64 music that you're going to be hearing underneath this because it's a good tune.
It's the best version as well, even though it is the same tune on the 16 bits, unlike Driller, which didn't have any music.
Yeah, that's fair enough. Yeah, as you know me, I'll inject a bit of Commodore 64 into anything I can.
Yeah, Wally Baben did Darkside and Total Eclipse, and they are very good tunes. Matt Furniss, I think, did Castle Master and the Crypt, which again are very good tunes. It's just a different programmer. He did the 64 version as well, which is kind of unusual.
Well, so what's the story with this sequel then? Where are we going with this one?
Essentially, this is set on the other moon, Tricuspid. The Ketars basically put a super weapon on there as kind of a backup plan after the events of Driller. And the weapon that's been left there, called the Zephyr 1, essentially it's pointed at EVAF, and in a very short period of time it will charge up and it will destroy the homeworld. So you've been sent there to disable it. No easy task, because at the beginning of the game you've got about 6.5 minutes before it fully charges. You kind of got there late. The idea is to disable those towers you see in the background of the picture here, called ECDs, energy collection devices. But the trouble is, the energy collection devices are all kind of linked together in a spider's web, so you have to find the ones on the outside first and slowly move inwards to the weapon itself.
Well, here we go.
Now, as you saw, the guy basically has got weapons. He's also got a jetpack. So you can actually fly in this, but you start with minimal fuel and shields, as you say.
Yeah.
The controls are identical to Driller. You can fall off the edge of the moon because it's the same Rubik's snake shaped moon as with the platforms as Driller had. The first thing to do is to locate the ECDs that are on the outskirts. There happens to be 3 right near the beginning, so get rid of them, and already you have reduced the ECD collection rate to 88%. Go into another sector here, UNTARS, and you've now got it down to 80, so already it's one-fifth less efficient that quickly. Now believe me, when you first play this game you ain't got a clue where to go. But once you know where to go, you can finish it incredibly quickly, far faster than you could finish Driller. These give you your shield back, I think. No, your fuel back. Just bump into them and they give you some fuel, as you see.
Yeah.
Only so much though, and that one there gives you shield.
It's always handy to know.
Just like Driller, you've got your usual array of defences which will shoot at you, bumping into walls damages you. There's puzzles to be solved, like here. You shoot that hammer. I think that opens a door into another sector. But yeah, I'd go for the jetpack here. Into this hole here, in the Sirius sector, and there's another puzzle to be solved. Just like Driller, everything is linked. Now, most of the stuff I did work out for myself on the 64, but there was one puzzle I just couldn't work out, and I admit that I did look in Zap for the answer.
Well, you wouldn't be the only one.
But this is very much a memory game. You know, once you know what to do, you can finish it incredibly quickly. Right, there's the first telepod crystal. I think there's three of them, and they're telepod crystals. I think there's 3 of them. They're littered all over the landscape. And you need those crystals because they will get you into 3 sectors you can't normally get into. And it was one of the telepod crystals I couldn't find. It's underground. Like that you can crush. That you can shoot so that it just crashes into the... No, you shoot that one. That water there or whatever it is will damage you. Nothing kills you instantly, I don't think. Except for falling off the edge of the moon, as it were. But you see there, you had to shoot the one on the left first, so it's not linked. If an ECD is linked to even one more ECD, it will simply regenerate. So you have to find the ones at the edges first. There's a shield there you can't get through. But there is something behind it, as you can see. You see the way the lines are, by their power lines there. You notice I shot one behind that platform there, which then allowed me to shoot that one. I got seen by the sector I went into there. It's protected by 2 radar dishes, and as soon as you go there, it teleports you into jail.
Oh, right, so that's why it went red.
Yeah, you have to give up some of your fuel or shield there to open the door. And now you're basically in the equatorial tunnel, or the equator tunnel. So the first order of business is to come out of this tunnel and disable that radar scanner that's on the surface. So you've got to find the right way out, which I think is on the dark side. But yeah, you see that suspicious looking... There's your missing crystal. It's actually hidden in one of the light fixtures. Now on the 64 version, the 64 version was very grey. I mean, the ST and Amiga versions are, well, you splash of colour. But on the 64 version, I could not find that crystal. Which means I couldn't get into the final sector. I could get the ECD down to 4%. I couldn't find the last crystal. But you see there, it was in the light. It's a bit more obvious. You see those radars, radar dishes, come out of the equator hole there and shoot them from behind. Right now, this sector's safe, the Umbral sector. You can travel through it freely, and you will not be teleported into confinement. If you get teleported into confinement with low energy and shields, you're dead because you can't escape.
Yeah, because you've got nothing to give up.
Exactly, you've got nothing to give up. It's also possible to trap yourself underground and not have the fuel to actually get out. So again, it is basically, so you notice I couldn't shoot that one there, it regenerated the minute I shot it. So it is a matter of knowing which sector to go to in order to disable the ECDs. See, there's another one, another radar shield there, another radar dish you need to get rid of.
That thing takes some hits, doesn't it?
Yeah. Some of the enemies do regenerate as well. See, that one's come.
Yeah, it's come back as well.
It's linked to something else. But there are multiple ways of completing the game. You know, you don't have to do it in the order I'm doing it here. You know, there are things you can do in a different order. But there are certain things that have to be done before other things can be done, because that's the nature of the game. It is just like Driller. Driller, you have to get the shuttle in order to disable something in one sector, and then you have to go back and get the probe, and it's that kind of game. It's a first-person shooter, yes, but it has got a puzzle element to it as well. You see it's down to 8% now. You see the LEDs on the left?
Yep.
That are slowly charging up. At the beginning of the game, you had 6 minutes. If you sit there and do nothing, in 6.5 minutes, the Zephyr 1 weapon charges, and it destroys EVAF, and it's game over. But once you start to destroy the ECDs, it's slowing the charging rate, as you can see. Now you've got about 25 minutes. Yeah, there's 4 telepod crystals. I'm actually still missing one. The telepod crystals will take you behind these shields, which will allow you to Well, there's the missing crystal for stars. So now I've got all 4 telepod crystals. But you have to pick up the DARK, which will open the doors to the Zephyr 1 weapon, where it's housed. You can look at the Zephyr 1 weapon from underground, but as soon as you pop out of the hole, it pushes you back down the hole again. You can't get out that way.
Well,
It just lets you look at it. See, I've got 2 of the letters now. I mean, you notice all the sectors are all named after, I think they're mostly named after moons of Uranus and Neptune. Or basically, basically Greek mythical figures.
Nothing wrong with naming things after that. You know, they do, because of the way sci-fi has been presented to us over the years. Pretty much using sort of like historical Greek names, it's become a sci-fi thing, isn't it? And it works.
There you go. The door's now open because you've got all 4. And there's the Zephyr 1 weapon. Shoot the last ECD, and that's it. The Zephyr 1 weapon disabled. You can die from falling as well. If you stupidly turn the backpack off while you're in the air, yeah, you kind of plummet to your death and die. It's a bit different from the probing and driller.
Yeah, again, you made that look easy. I mean, I know you said it's a memory game, but to rinse through it in sort of 10 minutes is still quite an achievement, really.
Yeah, it's quicker than driller, I think, because driller, you obviously needed to know where to drill in each sector. That wastes a lot more time. But in this one, once you know the order to disable the ECDs, you can go through it extremely quickly. I think the previous playthrough, before I recorded this one, I actually did it even quicker.
Bloody hell. I mean, I thought that was about, I think it was something like 9.5 minutes.
Yeah.
If I remember, I'll put a little time up to say exactly what it was, because obviously the video is longer than just the gameplay. I know you say it's a memory game and you know exactly what you're doing, but for someone that's never completed the game, I mean, I've only ever seen Dark Side. I haven't played it myself, but I have played Driller. From someone just watching, that just looked like a glidey breeze through. It's like, yeah, I'm just out. I'm just out. I'll just shoot these and do that, and there you go. I've completed it. That's how it looks to me when you're doing it, anyway.
Yeah, it's true. It's a bit like when I used to play Duke, and I zip around the levels, clicking switches, picking cards up. You ain't got a clue what I'm doing, but it's because I've rehearsed it so many times. It's like when you watch speedrunners, you think, like, how can they just do it that quickly? It's because they've done it over and over and over.
Yeah, that's not a bad game, though. I mean, I'd imagine, like, when you first got that, much like we said in the Bubble Ghost video, once you've paid for the game, the first dozen times you play it, when you don't know what to do, obviously you're going to get, as long as you're taking out the things in the right order, the ECDs, you are going to get a decent amount of gameplay out of it. I mean, alright, if you paid 20 quid for that and you completed it in 10 minutes on your first go, going to be a bit pissed off with incentive software.
Yeah, you probably wouldn't finish this on your first go, because you're either going to die, get shot to death until your shield's down, or you are simply going to get stuck like I did, where I couldn't find that last telepod crystal. So you've got one sector you can't visit, which means you can't open the doors and you can't get that last ECD. And yeah, I had to look it up in Zap. It said it's in the light fitting in the equator tunnel. I thought, oh, you gotta be kidding. Yeah, you'd never think that, to shoot the light to turn it into the crystal. There's just no way you'd think of doing that.
And to get there, you've got to go to prison first.
Yeah, you have to walk. You basically go into the Umbriel sector and it will teleport you straight into IO confinement. But yeah, I've finished it on the 64 first. I mean, the 64 is obviously a lot slower, I came back to the Amiga version in later years through emulation. I think James had the original Dark Side. I just decided to have a go on the ST version this time because I found out it did come out on that as well. Just to be different.
Well, yeah, I mean, it does fit in nice in as we did a video of Driller on the Atari ST, so it's nice to have the sequel on the same machine.
Yeah. I mean, there's not a lot of difference between the ST and Amiga versions anyway. Slight speed difference, but the sound effects are about the same.
Yeah, well, nicely done is all I can say about that. I mean, that just made it look ridiculously easy. Well, I know it's not, but yeah, that was a great playthrough.
I'm not sure if I'll come back to Total Eclipse, Castle Master and the Crypts. The Crypt I like. The Crypts, that was the first incentive game I ever played. The Crypt. Borrowed it off of Robbie. It was the only one that would copy. Castle Master wouldn't copy for some reason, but the Crypt would. So yeah, the Crypt was the first one I ever played. Total Eclipse, I think, was the last one I ever finished. I've never played Sphinx Jinx, which only come out on the Spectrum 64, I think.
Might be one worth looking at in the future.
I have watched the Spectrum playthrough of it. It's a bit more involved than Total Eclipse was. But yeah, they're nice, and all the incentive games, they are very nice.
Yeah, there's more to them than just blowing things up, isn't there? So
yeah, they're not simple first-person shooters. They're a bit like Mercenary, aren't they? I mean, Mercenary had its first-person aspect, but it was an adventure game.
Yeah, it was. That was another game where you had to know what you was doing, or otherwise you were flying around endlessly, as I used to do. Mind you, I used to quite like getting in the dart on that and then just flying around.
Yeah.
Alright mate, well we'll call time on that then, on Dark Side. Thanks for coming on yet again and showing us another one of your completions.
Yeah, not a problem.
And until the next video, thank you very much for watching, and laters.
Yep, laters.